Hey, it's Wondrous. Today I'll be ranking every single equipment and its non-premium skins in Demonology, starting things off with the Blacklight. Being one of the 8 main evidence items that you'll have, it allows you to gather fingerprint evidence. Now, I would put this item in D tier because fingerprint evidence is one of the hardest evidence to get, but with the salt combo, you can make it way easier and even trivial. And bonus point, it gives off a bit of light, which is enough to bump it up to a B tier. Currently, the Blacklight doesn't have a skin yet, so let's move on to the next equipment, EMF. Still in the main evidence item category, it allows you to, well, gather EMF evidence. If the ghost is touching something, it gives off an EMF 2. If the ghost is throwing something, it'll give off an EMF 3. If the ghost is doing a ghost event or writing, it'll give off an EMF 4. And of course, EMF 5 is an evidence. It won't show you where the ghost room is, and it going off is based on RNG, although the ghost can trigger it during a hunt, which makes getting EMF 5 a bit easier. Still, nothing special, so C tier. The EMF itself has 3 skins, one of them being premium. The first one is the tactical EMF, which I'll be honest, for $3,000, you'd better off getting the green phone skin for $3,500, since it gives you the same information, just more legible. Sure, it's another rectangle that's gonna get lost in the dark, but at least you can see the light better, so I'm putting the tactical EMF in D tier and the green phone in C tier. Next up, taking a bit of detour from the main evidence item, it's the flashlight. And boy, where do I start? First of all, it takes 1 slot of inventory space for a pretty bad amount of light, especially comparing it to the laser projector, having the plus side of it being an actual evidence item. And get this, it gives off way more light than the flashlight. Just look at this. Flashlight, laser, flashlight, laser. The difference is noticeable. And with the flashlight taking up an inventory space, which you can just replace with a superior laser projector or even the video camera, it just makes the flashlight useless in most scenarios. Unless of course you're that person that just leaves the flashlight on the ground to find your way back. But then again, just get the video camera at that point. The flashlight itself has 2 skins, the pocket flashlight and the big flashlight. The pocket flashlight is more compact. Great, that means I can lose it easier. At least the big flashlight gives off a decent amount of light for $20,000, which is comparable to the laser projector. I'll be nice and put the pocket flashlight in B tier since it has a pretty cool design, and the big flashlight in A tier since it makes the user's flashlight slightly more useful. But hey, at least you got some bragging rights and can spark a conversation with it. Unlike the pocket flashlight, all my friends that I've played with says that it's really bright, so maybe there's some merit to it, but personally I don't see it. Now going back to the main evidence item, the flower pot. It allows you to get wither evidence. I would put this in B tier since it's a pretty unique evidence item if it wasn't nerfed by the fact that you don't need it, since you can just use the environment around you like rusting or distorted painting, which knocks it down to a C tier. The flower pot itself has 1 skin, the flower vase, which is a sleeker version of the flower pot. There's nothing interesting after that though, so I'm putting it in C tier. Next item in our list are the laser projector, which allows you to get the laser projector evidence. This straight up goes to a high A tier. What can I say? It's a main evidence item and it gives off the brightest light source of all the equipment, beating the flashlight like I said before and being comparable to the big flashlight. And bonus point for it being able to rule out Spectre if the ghost stays in place for a while. It has 2 skins, one of them being premium. The non-premium one is the compact projector, which is just, you guessed it, a more compact version of the projector. It's smaller, sure, but I still like the original laser projector skin better since it's easier to grab in dark environments, which is why I'm putting the compact projector in B tier. Next up, we have another main evidence item, the speedboat. It allows you to get ghost writing evidence. Nothing more need to say about this item really. It's just an evidence item, nothing more, nothing less. So I'll put it in C tier. Although, if the ghost throws the book outside of a hunt, you know that it's not going to be a ghost writing evidence. The speedbook itself has 2 other skins, the weathered book and the easel, one of them being better than the other. I'd rather use the default book skin to be honest, since it's easier when the ghost has already wrote in it, so I'll put it in D tier. The easel, however, is pretty good. First of all, unlike the other book skins, it shows a full colored final of this game, which is pretty cool, and that makes it more obvious when the ghost has wrote in the book. So I'm putting it in B tier, because for some reason there's still some players that doesn't know that the easel is a ghost writing book, but I digress. The next item we have on our list is the spirit box, another main evidence item which allows you to get the spirit box evidence. I would put this in C tier since it's just another evidence item if it weren't for the fact that you can rule out ghoul by checking if the spirit box blinks and siren if it hums, which in my book it's just good enough to put it in B tier. The black phone is the only other skin that the spirit box has, and it's one of the best skins in my opinion because it adds a response log functionality and feedback. Sure, it's another rectangle, but there's not a lot of skin that looks good and adds functionality, and that's why it's getting an S tier. Still in the main evidence category is the thermometer, and it's the second best item for finding the ghost room and allows you to get freezing temperature evidence, as well as ruling out shadow when the temperature drops too much. If any room is below 16 or 14, you know that's 100% the ghost room, which is why I'm putting it in A tier. Why not S tier, you ask? That's because you can get freezing temperatures by other means like cold breath. And there's one other item in this list that's more deserving of an S tier. The thermo itself has 2 skins, the digital thermo and the house thermo. Let's just get it out of the way. Digital thermo, F tier, no questions asked. It's small as hell, the reading is absolutely tiny, and for $500 more, you can get the house thermo, which is a way better skin. Speaking of which, I'm putting house thermo in S tier. The reading is way bigger, there are 2 measurements, that is the rest of the world and USA, which is an additional functionality. With this skin, no longer will I ever get confused with that one player that has their thermo set to Fahrenheit. Ain't nobody using that. Stop. Just the next item we have is my one and only beloved video camera. Straight into S tier without a doubt. First of all, it's a main evidence item. It allows you to get ghost orbs and in turn getting the ghost room as well. It also provides night vision, which allows you to see everything. Bonus point, it allows your scaredy cat friend to monitor from the outside of the map with the computer. It's great. I always have it in my inventory, especially on the darker map like Bodega or Caf. Is it Caf or Cafe? Yeah, I'll say Caf. It is such a useful equipment. There are two skins that the video camera has, one of them being premium. The non-premium one is the Hollywood camera, which just enhances what's already great, since I do find the default green night vision to be a bit dark. The Hollywood camera, however, it's way brighter, but I've gotten used to it. That's all the main evidence items covered. Now let's move on to the optional equipment, starting with the cross. It allows you to stop the ghost from hunting within a range. The larger the map, the larger the range, and it's one of the most essential items when playing on nightmare mode or any higher difficulty. That's because it gives you some time to set up, like spreading salt and all that jazz. Also, you can take the burn Crucifix photo, which is a great way to fill out your journal besides the ghost photo, of course, and get more money. You can even take a picture of it 2 times per cross if you have the hangman perk, making you even more money. And when you're playing something like no evidence, it adds up a lot. That's why I'm putting Crucifix in S tier. The Cruci itself has 2 other skins, the golden cross and the Celtic cross. I'll put the golden cross in A tier because it gives off some contrast and it's easier to see when dropped on the floor. And I'll put the Celtic cross in B tier for the same reason. It kinda blends in with the floor more, although it has a nice texture to it, which puts it on the edge of B tier. Next up, we have energy drink. It allows you to restore some energy depending on the difficulty, which can be a pretty good way for using the cursed object longer or to recover some energy after. It also can be used to complete objectives, one of them being recover from 0 energy with the energy drink, which is why I'll put it in B tier. The energy drink only has one other skin, which is the coffee cup. It adds a little bit of flair to the energy drink by making it break after some use for some reason, but pretty mid skin overall. C tier. Next up is the energy watch. It allows you to monitor your energy anywhere. Now, energy watch users, tell me why you're using it. No, tell me why you're buying it. Please, since I don't get it. If you got it for free, like it spawns naturally on the map, fine. But why are you actively buying it? Do tell me in the comments if you're an energy watch buyer. Sure, on lower difficulty, you can monitor your energy so that you can tell when the ghost is gonna hunt. But then again, the ghost is not gonna hunt that often on lower difficulty. And if you're playing nightmare mode, it makes me even more confused. You'd better off spending that money on a Crucifix or something that you'll actively use instead. Since, let's be honest, it'll be 0 most of the time on that difficulty. I'll be nice and put it in the low D tier. At least it has some functionality. Anyway, moving on from that, the energy watch has 2 skins, the biter watch and the money watch. The biter watch is the sick background, bro, but I can't read the numbers. Why did I say it like that? I'm just editing this video right now, and that was cringy as fuck. Clearly, unlike the money watch. That's why I'm putting it in D tier and the money watch in C tier. At least with the money watch, you can see the numbers slightly better, but still a pretty mid skin. The Fitbit, the revive device. It allows you to, well, revive other players. Although you might not want to revive the other player at all, talking to you, item hogger, unless of course they know what they're doing and sacrifice themselves to test for a revenant, but I digress. S tier. Being able to revive player is such a nice thing to have, since you can just let the player be dead for a while, observe the ghost while you hide somewhere, and then revive to get that information. Pretty powerful, especially in the mid and high level player bracket. There's no skin yet for the revive device, so we'll move on to the next item on our list, which is the head cam. It allows your friends to monitor other people's perspective from the outside. If you mostly play single player, however, this item is pretty useless. There's even a weather system in the games, so when it rains, this thing is also useless. D tier. The head cam itself has 2 skins, the spy glasses and the balloon crown. The former makes you look cool, and the other makes you look goofy. If you're into the goofy look, then the balloon crown is for you. But for me, it's a bit too much. So I'll be sticking to the spy glasses, which is why I'll put the balloon crown in D tier and the spy glasses on B tier. They're pretty cool, makes you look like Stella of the Kingsman movie. Moving on is the holy oil. It allows you to block out a room from the ghost, since except for the wisp, any other ghost can't walk through it, which is a solid A tier in my book. It allows you to rule out the ghost and keeps you safe. Although if you're good enough, you don't need it. That's why I didn't put it in S tier. The holy oil itself has 2 other skins, one of them being premium. The non-premium one is a sanctified elixir. Did I pronounce that right? I hope I did. Which I slightly prefer more than the default skin. It's slightly bigger and looks slightly better in my opinion. I'll be nice and put it in B tier. The lidar scanner is another item that can rule out the ghost, which is Vex. Now they recently revamped this item. Now it scans a full 360 degree. But what I don't like about it, it's that the dot gaps are wider. I'll probably get over it, but until then, it's a C tier for me. Next up is the lantern. This item is kinda bittersweet. On one hand, it can provide light, complete the objective, and sometimes rule out the spirit. On the other hand, it takes up 2 inventory slots since you need a lighter to light the damn thing. But hey, it's still better than a flashlight at least, since it has multiple uses, but I have to put it in E tier for this this one. There's only one other skin for the lantern, and it's a premium one, which I won't be covering in this video. Although do let me know if you want an updated version that includes all the premium items as well. Next up on our list is the lighter, which in my opinion is a bit underrated. Supporting item wise, that is. It can light lanterns and candles, which allows you to complete the objective with the addition of being able to light the summoning circle as well, thus completing another objective. And it's a pretty fun and satisfying item to spam as well. There's only one other skin for this item, which is the metal lighter, which in my opinion the snap feels more satisfying. It soothes the brain. 8 tier. Photo camera, my beloved photo camera. I always have this in my inventory next to the video camera, since you don't know when the ghost will do a ghost event and I'll be missing out on some easy ghost photo. That's why I always have this at the ready. It allows you to take a picture of the ghost, cross object, interaction, handprints, and anything related to ghost activity. It's basically free money, and it also allows you to level up and farm money fast with soul and fingerprint photos as well, although the star system can be a bit scuffed sometimes. I'm still putting it in S tier though. The photo camera itself has two other skins, one of them being premium, and the other one is the printer camera, which is just a Polaroid camera, if you know what those are, which is pretty cool in my opinion, if it weren't for the fact that it leaves a whole bunch of floating rectangles everywhere sometimes. It would be nice for the photo that you've taken to show up on the Polaroid capture that falls into the ground, but oh well, what can you do? It's a C tier for me. You have so much potential. The next item we have is the plushie. Straight into F tier. $65 for an item that just makes it easier for spirit box evidence. It's not worth it, since you can just spam it unless you're really that impatient. Even then, the ghosts need to be actively interacting with it, aka making it float to make the plushie actually works. In this recording here, it didn't trigger the plushie at all, not even once. I sat there for like 10 minutes in the ghost room. Well, at least the skin is pretty nice. It's like a cute mini version of the biter ghost model, which by the way, you used to be able to get in real life as well for a limited time. 8 tier. Last but not least, we have the salt. It is one of my beloved items as well, and it's the first thing that I like to use after dropping the Crucifix when playing 4x multiplayer or nightmare mode. It allows you to get the fingerprint evidence, rule out a certain ghost type like Wraith, since Wraith doesn't step in salt, and it also rules out Aswang, since Aswang walks slower in salt. S tier. I always have it on all of my investigations. The skins are pretty mid. There are two non-premium skins for the Salt Shaker and the Salt Grinder. Both of them have similar animations, nothing interesting. Although, I do like the Salt Grinder more since it has some new sound effects. But both of them are going to C tier, with the Salt Grinder going in the higher C tier. Hey, editing funders here. They since added the rock salt shotgun while I was editing this video. I'm putting it in A tier. It allows you to stop the ghosts from hunting by shooting them, although you can also shoot other players, which can get pretty chaotic, but fun for me. And with that, here are the current tier lists for the equipment and skins. Remember that this is just my opinion, and if you want to do the tier list yourself, I'll put the link down in the description below. But until then, I'll see you on the next video. Hopefully industrialist this time. Cheers!